Today we're going to be rating custom Magic the Gathering cards on Reddit. We're going to start off with a 1 generic instant. Roses are red. That's the name of the card. This card's color is blue until end of turn. Crabs you control get Ward 2. I would say this card is far more poetic than good, but it absolutely can pass. I mean, there's nothing broken about this card at all. You can pitch it to Force a Will. Why? It's very funny. It has to specify that the card is blue. However, they made it colorless. Why don't they just make the card blue? Like a 1 generic blue card. Isn't that possible? Wouldn't that make it? Okay, whatever. Moving on. What do we got here? We got Down the Rabbit Hole. White, green, 2 generic, legendary enchantment. Creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. A little Alice in Wonderland theme going on over here. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield, it explores. And if the revealed card is a land card, the Cheshire Cat should show up out of nowhere. No, create a food token. Otherwise, put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 creature. Sure. I think it's probably gonna be a flavor day today or something like that. Everything's gonna have a theme. So there's this big faction of those custom Magic the Gathering players. They try to make some. Oh, and there's another card involved here. Oh, it's just an alternate art. I think, yeah, this is the extended one. Yo, little Ted, love Alice in Wonderland. All right, Batman. Okay, we got black, blue, white, 2 generic, 4/4 human rogue. Would he be in rogue? Is there any? I mean, I guess so. He's a vigilante with vigilance. Is that why he's got vigilance here? I don't think vigilance and vigilante has anything to do with each other. He's got menace. Whenever one or more creatures attack, investigate. Because that's what Batman is. He's a detective. Technically. Batman Cape Crusader has hexproof as long as you control 3 or more clues. Makes me think, is Spider-Man also a detective, do you think? He goes around, he asks people questions, he tries to get to the bottom of things, and then he fights the bad guys. It's very similar to Batman. Very similar in my opinion. Okay, anyway, Batman Cape Crusader has hexproof as long as you control 3 or more clues. Alright. Because remember, when you investigate, you make the clues. I'm gonna put those the Sherlock. It's basically a modern version of Sherlock Holmes over here. Watson. It's a game's afoot. Okay, whenever Batman Cape Crusader attacks or blocks, you may sacrifice a clue. Why would he sacrifice his clues? If you do, you may put an equipment or vehicle card from your hand onto the battlefield. Anyway, this is how we get the Batmobile on in play. Slam that Batmobile, attack for who knows is what. No, Spider is not a detective. You know what, to be honest, the bad guys in Spider-Man are so, how do I put it? They're not very discreet. They're always on the morning news and so on. Batman should be a human ninja knight. That's an interesting take. Yeah, he learned the dark arts from that guy in the Batman movie. Man, the latest Batman series is so much different from the prior ones or anything I ever saw on like the TV show. Batman hammer time. Yeah, the Colossus hammer. Fire with an enormous super chat. So I'm gonna give you this sound effect. I like this one a lot. Okay, good morning. I hope this is enough for 3 2.5 cards. The post name is Meld Pair Pandorum, and as people know, or as they should know, if you donate with super chats, I'll look your card up. Hold on, what was it? We got Meld Pair, and yes, I'll look through a few cards for this size of a super chat. You could give me a whole set. Now with proper credit. Okay, we got the Mind Share of Pandroium. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Blue 4 generic, legendary tribal artifact, horror. It's a horror artifact. Oh, yes. Okay, so it's like a horror type card. We got tap, add a blue or black. So it's a very mediocre ramp spell. But for 5 mana, tap, gain control of target creature until end of your next turn. So you steal it, and you get to keep it for entire rotation. Whenever that creature attacks, if it's equipped by an artifact you own and control named Veil of Shadow Stuff, and if you own Mind Shard of Pandroim, Pandroim? I think maybe it's Pandroim. Exile the artifact and Mind Shard of Pandroim at end of combat and meld them into Pandorum the World's End. Okay, so I guess this is a 3-card card. So we need to equip this thing, and then they're going to combine to make some, I don't know, disaster. Black 3 generic equipment. So anyway, the first card is totally fine. It's mediocre as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what's going to happen when we meld these things together, though. Legendary artifact. When Veil of Shadow Stuff. What is that stuff over there? That's the shadow stuff. Don't be touching that stuff. Okay, whenever it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless you sacrifice a land. Equipped creature gets +2/+1 and has shadow. So it's basically unblockable unless they have shadow. Equip for 3. So then we can... So what do we have to do here? We can set... If equipped creature artifact name blah 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 exile. So we can exile these things and meld them together into Pandorum the World's End. Some sort of Eldrazi. An Elder Horror. No, it's not an Eldrazi. No, it is an Eldrazi. Is it an Eldrazi or what? This is an Elder Horror. It's a Horror Eldrazi. Yeah, the shadow stuff. That's going to be canon now. You be careful about that shadow stuff over there. Flying Menace, Ward 4. When Pandorum enters the battlefield or attacks, for each opponent gain control of up to 1 target non-land permanent that player controls. At the beginning of your next end step, you may sacrifice a permanent you don't own. How do you do that? At the beginning of your end step, can't you just make someone sacrifice something? Wouldn't that be worded better? When you do, draw 2 cards, and that permanent's owner discards 2 cards. Oh my god! That's very strong. However, assembling this is really hard, so I'm going to give a pass to all this. Huge pass. So not an Eldrazi, just a Horde. Then what the hell is this? How do you explain this symbol at the top left? Someone needs to... I need some explanations here. Shadow stuff needed in Summer Magic. Cut me some shit. Yeah, that's right. It's 14 mana plus, yeah, a lot of conditions. So, I mean, I'm going to give it a pass. All right, we're back to the freebie side. The Ill-Tempered Mog. Did we give a pass to Batman? I'm going to give a pass to Batman. Okay, Ill-Tempered Mog. Red, 1 generic for a 2/2. Goblin Artificer. Whenever a source you control deals damage. Sorry. Deals an amount of damage to a permanent that is greater than or equal to that permanent's mana value, destroy it. Source you control deals an amount of damage to a permanent that is greater than or equal. Okay, so if I have Lightning Bolt and your creature has 2 mana value and it's a Tarmogoyf with 5 toughness, it just blows up. That is very unique. Never seen that before. And I think it shouldn't be broken. If your creature is really cheap to cast but is really big, then probably it won't be that unfair to kill it with burn spells like this. I think this is I don't think this is broken. This is totally fine. It's a 3 mana 2/2 for crying out loud. Heat is hotter, hit it harder. Sure. I think it's just the meld symbol. Oh, that's the meld symbol? That thing over here? I looked at it like it's the Eldrazi symbol. If it's wet, sticky, not your with shadow, don't touch it. All right. Wise words coming from MTG Ectoplasm. It makes auras and equipment useless. Not useless. Like, you can still use the cards. It's just, it makes burn spells from one player really good. That's about it. And also, remember, if you have a creature that's like 7 mana, like your commander, there's gonna be some commanders 7, 8, 9 mana. They'll survive most burn spells, right? Christopher B says, if you sack something you don't own by gaining control of something originated with another. Yes, that's how this other one worked. Okay, I'm gonna super give this a pass. I like it. I like the card a lot. Erwin Lopez, thank you so much for your super chat. You should have done a Jeskai tier list. I know. You know, I forgot that it was America Day. I just totally whiffed on that. It should have been a Jeskai tier list. I gotta be more cognizant of the holidays or whatever. It would have worked out really well. Okay, Omnipresent. I guess the brother to Omniscience. Blue, 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 7 generic enchantment. At the beginning of each end step, if it's not your turn, take an extra turn after this one. I don't know how you get this in play, but once it's in play, like, the game is over. I mean, this is like the ultimate time walk. Like, come on, Nexus of Fate is like 7 mana. And it's also 7 generic. They should have just made this like blue, 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 and then that would have been harder to actually get into play. I mean, between like Mana Vault and some, you know, I don't know, rituals, some blue stuff, then this is insane. This is just beyond stupid. Even at 10 mana, I think this is a bit stupid. Blue loves to get broken things. Well, you know, the funny thing about blue is it's hard to balance. What's blue's thing? Drawing cards, getting extra turns. Those are hard things to mitigate. Like, those things, those are insane. Wow, F&M all one game all night. I have Bastille Day coming up on July 14th, so you have another. I don't even know what that is. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna have to confer to Mikey J, my member of my community that knows all the days. Yeah, fantastic job with the mock. Okay, anyway, I know it's 10 mana. I'm still disqualifying this card. This seems obnoxious. You know what it is? It's like Lighthouse Chronologist in one card in one shot, and you can't kill it. Not with creatures. I mean, you have to get you got to use some sort of enchantment removal. So anyway, I think it's a pile of BS. Oh, let's get a super chat. We got super chats here. Yo, little Ted, thanks so much for your super chat. Giant Eagle. Got Giant Eagle mounted unit. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Okay, it is as described. It is a giant eagle getting mounted. We have a white Azorius blue 3/3 bird mount. The hell creature type is that? It's got flying and mount 3. I don't know if you need to have the mechanic in the creature type. And really, probably it's really like a human warrior. That's how Wizards does it. It's like the bird's not attacking. It's that stupid moron riding the bird that's actually attacking. Okay, mount 3. Tap a creature you control with 3 power and attach it to Giant Eagle. As long as that creature is tapped and attached to Giant Eagle, this becomes a mounted unit. It stops being a mounted unit if either leaves the battlefield or the rider becomes untapped. You may choose to keep the rider tapped at your untapped step. Mount as a sorcery. If this is a mounted unit, Giant Eagle gains first strike if attacking or blocking. This is a totally fair card. This is very underwhelming. So I basically I gotta sacrifice a 3-power creature just to give this thing first strike. I think that's pretty crappy. But totally fair card. And also unique mechanic. Like, there's potential here. I would think you should give this thing more than first strike. Maybe first strike and maybe +1/+1. I don't know what you do to give this like a little bit of an extra buff. It's like it's like a watered down version of vehicle, but I can see that it can have like some bonuses because like this is a vehicle that can attack with, you know, with no crewing, right? That's what the Giant Eagle is. You could make it give, oh yeah, maybe double strike. That would be pretty sick. And that would also be a little fair because you have to at least sacrifice a creature with 3 power. So instead of going wide for, what, I guess 6 damage, you now are double striking for 6 damage. Very, very interesting mechanic. A lot of potential there with this one. So anyway, super pass. We got the Everglade Outrider. For a Selesnya, it's a 1/2 Elf Knight. Lands you control that entered the battlefield this turn have Exalted and Hexproof. What the hell? Only this turn, though. Hold on. Lands you control that entered the battlefield this turn have Exalted and Hexproof. Why Exalted? Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, Exalted. So if you attack with one creature, it'll get a +1/+1. And they have Hexproof. Is that necessary? How can you break this card? I think it's fair. Like it's only an until end of turn thing. It's an elf knight that's super weak. It's not even a very strong creature by itself. It's a unique design, but I actually don't know how you break this or whatever. Nice design, exalted on lands. But it only, like, the only way you can break it is by putting a lot of lands into play. I guess you could scape shift, wipe the whole board, and then redeploy all your land, like, you know, put a bunch of lands in play. So you put, like, say 7 lands in play, then you have 7 exalted triggers. But you have to only attack with one creature and nothing else. And there's, like, no other way to break this thing. So it looks like a very fair card to me. Maybe the hexproof part makes it strong. So you, like, set up a moment where... I mean, I guess that's possible. Maybe you're setting up a situation where you play, like, Dark Depths, Thespian Stage. Like, that's probably not that powerful in Commander, but, you know, something to that effect to blow up your opponent. So maybe it protects a land combo somewhere in the future. So Brandon says, you know, sack lands with counters with Thalia and get wrong and then put the counters on the Oslas. Yeah, I guess you could do that. Exalted on lands is not good enough. Should be at least a 2/1. Maybe they're afraid of being pinged. Primetime likes this. Primetime likes a lot of things. But actually, Primetime... Well, first off, Primetime is mega banned in Commander. And then on top of that, after you attack with the Primeval Titan, I mean, you're not going to get the Exalted triggers. You only get the... He needs to be... The lands need to be on the battlefield beforehand. Anyway, I give it a pass. Easy pass. Moving on with the super chats. We got Brawly Shadow, Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Ooh, a little bit of Kirby action going on here. Tweedledee. Or hold on, is this Kirby? Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, I don't know what this is from. Is this also from Alice in Wonderland? Okay, we have a red, black, blue, 2 generic, 4/4 human rogue. Whenever Tweedledee enters the battlefield, I was thinking of King DDD. Alright, sorry, I was thinking about King DDD. I'm not that deep into Kirby, but I know enough. I know enough to get besnaken when I heard this name. Whenever Tweedledee enters the battlefield, create a copy of it, except the copy is named Tweedledum and doesn't have this ability. But what if you have Tweedledum already? And you make another... Oh, no, but it doesn't have this ability anymore. Okay, whenever a player casts a spell, that player discards a card, then that player draws a card. How does this work? Whenever a player casts a spell, that player discards a card, then that... So basically, everyone gets to rummage, is what's going on. And when this enters the battlefield, you get Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Okay, that's fair. I don't know how you break this thing. You might even be helping someone else. You are thinking of Waddle Dee and Waddle... You know what? That's it. You know what? Arethusa, you're right. Think of Waddle Dee and Waddle Doo. We need them on the screen right now. Waddle Dee, Waddle Doo. Ah, the guy with the eyeball. That's all I can think about when I see this guy. That's his attack, right? I think that's his attack. All right, back to the Magic the Gathering before people start leaving in droves. Player casts a spell, that player discards 2, draws 2. Is that how it works? Whenever a player casts a spell, that player discards a card. Then that player... No, for every card you cast, you discard. Hold on, do you need to discard cards to draw cards? That player discards a card, then that player... Like, if you don't discard a card, it should be... I mean, it probably should be worded... If they discarded a card, draw a card. Otherwise, it looks like you just draw cards. So, like, if the last card in your hand, like, if you're just playing the last card in your hand, you're just basically drawing cards for nothing because you have nothing to discard. Actually, this could be broken. Maybe it's not broken because everyone gets the effect, and it probably screws you more than it screws everyone else. They need if they do. Probably. Like, that's the safe thing. But you know what? If anyone has access to this, it's just chaos, and it's fun for everyone. So, yeah. But like if you build your deck around drawing cards every single time you cast something, it might be broken. I'm gonna give it a pass, but it could be broken. It could be supremely broken. Independence! America, the land of the free! Home of the brave. White, red, blue, 1 generic enchantment. Once each turn, you may cast a spell from your hand without paying its mana cost. That's freedom! Oh, I'm sorry, I thought this was America! Yeah, imagine you trying to play a land... Imagine you don't have independence on the battlefield, and someone is tapped out, and they just try to cast a spell with no mana. No mana available. Like why? They're like, and everyone's like, why are you trying to play that card for free? Oh, I'm sorry, I thought this was America. Isn't this the land of the free? I can play my spells for free. Yeah, give me freedom too. Who wants some freedom here? Anyway, independence. It's, once each turn, you may cast this. Is it only you? Once each turn, you may cast a spell from your hand without paying its mana cost. Isn't this like a strictly better? And it's every single turn. This is like a strictly better Fires of Invention, right? Because Fires of Invention is like you can play 2 spells for free. Do I have that right? Fires of Invention. This was also a pretty like relatively broken card, if I am not mistaken. You can cast spells only during your turn. You can cast no more than 2 spells each turn. You can cast spells that convert mana cost less than or equal to the number of lands. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so you get to have 1 card for free. You play 2 spells for free with Fires of Invention, but you just get 1 for free every turn, so this has to be broken. This is absolutely, completely broken. Yeah, show and tell. Oh yeah, it's even worse. Why didn't even I think about that? This is just beyond stupid. Enter the multiverse. Print for the art, this ridiculous eagle human thing. Anyway, yeah, this is beyond stupid. It's more themed than anything. So, hold on. Too much freedom for this show. Alright, Envoy of Valor. What the hell? White. For a 4/4 avatar, the spell costs white less to cast for each basic planes you control. Okay. Alright, at least that's a little fair. So in essence, it could be free if you have enough planes on the battlefield. Vigilance. When Envoy of Valor enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 human white human creature token for each basic planes you control. Okay, this enters the battlefield. So basically, if you have a lot of planes on the battlefield, this card's broken. Whenever you 1 or more creatures with power 2 or less enter the battlefield, then you control, draw a card. It has to be basic planes. So you're getting the payoff there. So once you get 5 mana, you can play this for like 3. If you have 4, it's basically a 4-drop. This is insane. Create it 1/1, so it's basically a 4/4. I'm thinking if you just curve out into this, it's basically a 4/4 with 4 1/1 humans for 4 mana, and this thing has vigilance. And whenever 1 or more creatures with power 2 or less enter the battlefield, so you're drawing. So this enters the battlefield, triggers. You get your 4 humans. You draw a card. This is stupid, beyond dumb. My God. Now, there is a downside. You have to be playing with a lot of basic planes, like some stupid amount of basic planes. You're probably not allowed to play with any utility lands. So, because for every utility land you play, this card is just much more useless. And we don't have, like, we've got the Urborg, we got Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth, but we don't have a planes version of those cards, so you can't even... No, but it doesn't even matter. It has to be basic planes. It would be a non-basic planes anyway. So anyway, I do think it's still broken. Moving on to a super chat, we got Fire. Fire's back. One more for you. Upcasting. Oh, all for me? Thanks so much. Upcasting. As always, thanks for rating my custom cards. You're welcome. Okay, I've got a red 3 generic enchantment at higher levels. That's the mechanic. Each instant and sorcery spell you cast has replicate. That's where you get to copy them. A replicate X, where X is equal to its mana value. When you cast a spell with replicate, copy it for each time you paid its replicate cost. Oh yeah, okay, so hold on, so can you make like 1 billion lightning bolts? Can you break this thing with lightning bolts? So like upcasting for 5, lightning bolt, replicate it like 1,000,000 times, because it's only 1 mana. Also, you could do the same thing with like maybe unholy heat, basically nuke everything for 6 damage. This card, I mean, but that might be the only cards you can combo with. if at all. And even then, like, you're still not going to win the game with them. This is a 5-mana enchantment. This has to be fair. It's probably really fun for somebody. Instant or sorcery spell. And you can't break those, like, what's it called? Like, take an extra turn and then you lose by next turn. Because, I mean, you could replicate as many times as you want, but you're going to die on the very next turn. What if Pact of Negation? Oh, yeah, so it has to say something like X cannot be 0, because otherwise you can have an infinite number of Pact of Negations on the battlefield. I think that's what they would say on a card like this. We're upgrade X is equal to its mana value, but mana value cannot equal 0. So you have to... So it lets you replicate anything that isn't like a 0 mana value card. But I like it. I like the idea that we got around here. It's a good card. Next up, we got the World Domination. Black X, legendary enchantment. When World Domination enters the battlefield, you draw X cards and you lose X life. Okay, so we have something of like it's a Yawgmoth's Bargain thing going on here. At the beginning of your end step, World Domination. Was this a Pinky in the Brain card or something? At the beginning of your end step, World Domination deals damage to any target equals the number of non-creature spells you've cast this turn. You gain that much life. At the beginning of your end step, I guess every single turn this applies. Equal to the number of non-creature spells you've cast this turn. So basically, you play spells and you get like double the value. Either you hit the opponent or you hit their creatures. And I think that's pretty neat. Yeah, combo with Pinky and the Brain. I think this is okay. I could be wrong, but I think it's okay. Like, triple black and X, that's hard to pull off. Or I should say, like, if you pull that off, like, it's not insanely broken. Although, this second ability, I might have to see it in action. You could, like, do a bunch of, I don't know, card draw, removal spells, and then hit something else at the same time. But it's not, like, it's not the worst. You hate Storm. I think there are better Storm cards out there than this. I don't know if this is what Storm wants. If Storm's playing this, like, whatever. Storm can play Storm can play Brain Freeze, for crying out loud. All right, let's get to some super chats. We got Andrew. Andrew Bowser. Is that really your last name? I heard there's some guy. Bowser's a real last name out there. The Dungeon Lord. I think it's pretty badass to have the last name Bowser. You can call yourself the end boss at every tournament. Alright, the Dungeon Lord. I don't know who this guy is, though, but he looks sort of... It's either familiar or it's using a lot of bad guy aesthetics all combined into one. Okay, for Wooburg and 2 generic, we have a 4/6 human noble with haste. Tap, search your library for a legendary card and put it into your graveyard, then shuffle your library. With haste, so you immediately get to do that. Then Wooburg, you may play target legendary card from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. Is this fair? Because the thing is, now it is very mana intensive. It's 7 mana just to cast this thing. It's an additional 5 mana. But you're basically, like, you're tutoring something onto the battlefield for 5 mana every turn. And you only get to do it once. But you'll, at the very least, get something onto the battlefield. And I guess this thing would be the target. And it's such a big, beefy creature. Also the current CEO of NOA. Nintendo of America. Of course they put someone named Bowser there. The current guy in charge of Nintendo USA is Doug Bowser, if I recall. That's not a joke? Well, of course. So in actuality, Mario is trying to get to... is always trying to fight to the top of the court. Maybe the whole Mario game is really an analogy for him trying to move up the corporate ladder to try to knock some sense into the CEO of Nintendo. Yeah, I think the haste thing is a bit much. If you take the haste thing out, it actually looks like a fair card. So you play it, and then everyone has like a turn to deal with it until next turn, and then it can go like nuts. Because if you have a lot of mana, well, I mean, like, again, it's pretty mana intensive. So Dylan thinks this is completely broken for Commander. 2 generic, double Wooburg, probably fine. I mean, that's like one way of looking at it. Like, it is mana intensive. You need a lot of mana. Mario was named in honor of a warehouse worker. Oh my god. Yeah, we're finding out the real lore to the Mario genre. Anyway, I will... Okay, what do we think about this coffee crew? We shipping or shredding this card? Because the thing is, the competitive player in me says this card is pointless. It would never see play in Modern or Legacy. But the pony player in me, the casual player, says this card looks like an absolute hassle to deal with. Make it Grixis and end up the generic mana cost. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Wooburg makes it even better. Nathan, thanks so much for becoming a member of the coffee crew. Toad says ship it. All right, we're gonna ship it. We found a buyer. Toad says they're playing this card. All right, we're gonna look at more custom Magic the Gathering cards, but we got to thank our sponsors today, FusionGamingOnline.com. The one place I would be looking for to buy the One Ring cards or Orcish Bowmasters or anything that came from the Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth. And you know, the One Ring, it's now a staple in basically every format playable. Legacy, Modern, Commander. Gotta get them while they're hot. You know where to get them from. You get them at FusionGamingOnline.com. And don't forget to use coupon code Nikachu at checkout to save yourself 5% off and also supports the channel. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online. Because if you're afraid of the One Ring to rule them all of getting banned in any of the formats, because it always could, you don't have to worry about your cards getting banned. You just have to... Mana Traders is the ones sweating this out. They're the ones who get their cards banned. So the deal is you rent the cards, they get banned, you send them back, and you lose nothing. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_1YA. Now back to the beautiful custom Magic the Gathering cards. Hashtag ad time. Who's sexy? Chat sexy. Love chat. And I love ads. Okay, Snuffles, 2nd to 1. It's a red, black, 2 generic, 1/3 cat wizard. Snuffles enters the battlefield with 9 shield counters on it. That's a lot of shield counters. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery for the first time each turn, remove a shield counter from Snuffles and create a 1/1 black cat creature token. Oh, it's like it's 9 lives. If I'm trying to, you know, figure out the flavor here. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice 9 cats. If you do, create 9 treasure tokens. Each opponent loses 9 life. I don't understand the flavor there at all at the end, but that's a cool card. It's a cute picture too. You're a wizard, Snuffles. Vitron says, it's a damn shame a game store got the One Ring. Imagine if it was Charlie Bucket situation where someone without a lot of money had opened it. No. The game, as far as I know, the game store did not get the One Ring. But face-to-face games just confirmed that the person that opened the One Ring was was like a customer of face-to-face games, as if I understand correctly. And the person who opened it is anonymous for the time being. They don't want to get attacked for the One Ring. Imagine the whole world knows you have the One Ring. Then the Nazgul will come after you. You don't want to do that. Then we got to keep those Nazgul people away from you. Okay, let's move. What do we got next? Lord Magicus. I made an artifact card based on Bondrewd's most powerful artifact in Maiden Abyss. It's called Zoaholic. Zoaholic. From Lord Magicus. Alright, we got a black-blue 1 generic legendary artifact. What the hell is this? The most powerful artifact made in Abyss. I do not know. Okay, when Zoaholic enters the battlefield and at the beginning of each combat, if no creatures have a mind counter on them, choose a creature and add a mind counter. Whenever a creature blocks or is blocked by a creature with a mind counter on it, that creature also gets a mind counter. They're getting assimilated one by one. For all creatures with mind counters on them, you choose whether those creatures attack or block and how they attack or block. This card's insane. This probably would break limited, right? But, like, what about, like, constructed magic? It's probably... You get to choose whether they attack or block. So activated abilities can still be activated by their controllers, I guess. But you just control the combat part of it. So whenever a creature blocks or is blocked by a creature... So you have mind counters... It's interesting. It's like semi-removal. It's like a weird death touch, actually. It's actually a weird death touch. So I think it passes. Because otherwise the creature would be dead anyway, so it doesn't matter. Drunk with power, but straining to read. In some sense. I have no idea what the hell's going on in here. Some sort of mind control. It's a very big rock that looks like a butt. Yeah, I agree. No argument there. You start with one creature and then infect something that it touches. Everything. All will be one. This should have been a Phyrexian card. This looks like such a Phyrexian all will be one card. Except it's not. Oh yeah, you get to choose. If you choose how they attack, you choose whether those creatures attack or block and how they attack or block. Ah, so you get to choose who gets to attack who with what. So yeah, but if I understand correctly, people will just not block the creature with the mind control thing unless they really have to. Always a bigger fish. This card stresses me out. Just thinking about this damn thing. Nathan, who's a new member of the channel. I have a question that I don't know the answer. If you have a card that prevents damage, would that work against cards that cause lose life? Nope. So lose life and damage are two different things. Yeah, so if someone has something in play that says prevent all damage from like effects, but you can get around that with something that says target player loses life. So actually those are two different things. Losing life gets around the prevent damage thing because loss of life is not damage. Great question. We all gotta learn this game one stupid rule at a time. All right, main channel, trickle-down economics. My favorite kind of economics. We got a black, white, toon generic. Of course it's gonna be Orzhov. But no one, I can't tell. Isn't Orzhov, like a, I don't know what the Orzhov faction is. Are they like a government? Because I thought they're like a taxer. So they're more like, they take the stage of the government. I don't know what color pie would be capitalism. Unless this is these are the colors, but I don't think it is. So anyway, enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a treasure token. Then the player with the most treasure tokens creates a treasure token. Well, I guess. Well, that's not how I imagine trickle-down economics. It's more like the person with a treasure token creates another treasure token. I guess if they worded it the other way around, it feels like trickle-down economics. The person with the treasure token creates another treasure token, and then everyone else gets, like, I don't know, one treasure token. Banks don't tax you, they charge you interest. Capitalism is the WotC color. They are bankers posing as a church, so pretty much religion in America. Ghost bankers, and council of everything. Oh, is that how it is? Why do ghosts need money? That's such a weird thing. Very bizarre. It's a mafia church banker. Oh, that's how the Orzhov works, huh? Okay, Orzhov is a sub-government of Ravnica. Orzhov controlled the Xeno. Okay, this is getting too confusing for me. Mafia-run mega church. Ah, see, I gotcha. Beanpot says, whoever made this card failed Econ 101. To be honest, I think most people don't even know what Econ 101 is. Alright, sure. I mean, I don't think it's broken. We're debating the flavor of it more than the actual card. We have more questions. Okay, what do you have, Abe? Oh, this is not... Oh, this is actually literally a card you want to look up. Simple question. Is this too good? Okay, you're getting skipped ahead. I thought I literally had a question. That's okay. Counter-Strike! Oh, you can't have a card called Counter-Strike without the... was it the terrorists and the counter-terrorists? Okay, we have a red, blue, 1 generic, instant, choose one. Counter target spell. Counter-Strike deals 3 damage to any target. And also you may choose new targets for target spell. No, I don't think it's broken at all. I think it's a cool card. I think it's pretty sweet. 3 mana to deal 3 damage. If anything, you might have been able to get away with having 2 of these abilities. Just like a Prismari command or something. Counter-Strike is a fail for not crediting the artist. Oh well. No, we have a Scott M. Fisher. There we go. The artist is definitely there. Mr. Rotboy says most economists don't understand Econ 101. Well, only if they're subbing in for other actual economic professors. They lend you money and you pay off the debt even if you die, therefore the ghost stuff. Oh god. I'm dead. No. You think you're getting out of your debt that easily? No, you're in debt until eternity. Until the universe turns to dust. And then we go to another multiverse and you still have to owe us. Or Harrison Ford, get off my plane. He's doing the fusion dance? I have no idea what that is. Is that like a Fortnite thing or something? Counter-Strike, but not CSGO art. Anyway, I'm going to give it a pass. This is a super pass. Okay, hold on. I'm going to get back to the super chats. In order, got Gabrielle, the Black Barrel. To kill those pesky Emrakuls. Yeah, we need answers to Emrakuls, because there are no answers. Until we... Now. Oh god, this is so many words. So many words. We wrote me a novel here, Gabrielle. What's with the novel? Alright, we have a 6-mana legendary artifact. Whenever Black Barrel enters the battlefield, or... You know, when I'm reading this, I'm thinking of Queen Barrel from, like, Sailor Moon. Whenever... Was Queen Barrel Sailor Moon or Power Rangers? I'm getting all my pop culture mixed up here. Whenever Black Barrel enters the battlefield or is untapped until end of turn, each god permanent or permanent with a mana value of 5 or more, your opponent controls... What? Your opponent controls lose hexproof, protection, and ward, and can't gain any of those abilities. Let me reread that, because I don't think I caught any of that. When enters the battlefield or is untapped... Until end of turn, comma, each god permanent or permanent with a mana value of 5 or more, your opponent's control lose hexproof, protection, and ward, and can't gain... Okay, so basically, when it enters the battlefield, creatures your opponent's control, like, lose the... big creatures lose all those abilities. Tap, pay 7 life, destroy target non-land permanent. If it's a god permanent or a permanent with mana value 5 or more, exile it instead. You have to pay a lot of life. Not indestructible, though. Did we miss indestructible? So we can hit hexproof, protection, and ward. Yeah, that's hilarious. All this, and you still can't beat, like... What's indestructible? I can't think of anything off the top of my head. It is way too many words. You gotta shorten this down. Just it's not when it enters the battlefield or is untapped. So what you're trying to say is when it's tapped, like, they have those things back. Just have, like, for 6 mana, it just says, like, creatures your opponents control lose hexproof, or creatures lose hexproof, ward, and protection. And then that's it. And I think that's good enough. And it's not like they're gonna gain those abilities anyway. Anime cards always go ham with the flavor. Can't touch Blightsteel. Yeah, Blightsteel is still totally fine. Yeah, Darksteel everything. It's exiled, though. Okay, what is the flavor text? A taboo weapon measuring the lifespan of its target, then firing the exact negative of that value as a bullet. The proof is there is no such thing as true eternity. Okay, I'll give it a pass. Oh, I got like a package or something. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Okay, I'm back. When Amazon calls. Alright. Okay, so I give this a pass. Back to the main page. Painting the red roses red. More poetry today. We got for Boros, instant. Target permanent becomes red. Oh, does it? Draw a card. Don't we have that? Like, doesn't that card exist already? Something to that effect. Not pink. Not green. Not aquamarine. We're painting the roses red. Oh, the roses were white before. I don't think it's broken. I hope it's not broken. All right, moving on to super chats. We got Brawly Shadow, Red Queen. More red cards. Bring on the red cards. I've been on a Wonderland kick. Have you now? Great art. Out of 10 out of 10, just over that. I'm not even going to read it. I'm just kidding. Okay, so we have a black. So we have Mardu and one generic for a 4/5 human noble legendary creature. When Red Queen enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch. For 4 mana, we're becoming the Monarch here. Is that broken? I can't remember what the Monarch is. It's like end of turn, you draw a card. Whenever a food enters the battlefield under your control, you may go to target creature. Okay, that's fine. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a food token. If you're the Monarch, create 3 food tokens instead. Okay, that's broken. It's absolutely, completely bonkers. I think that's bonkers. It's like 4 mana, you're the Monarch, you're gonna get 3 food tokens. Basically, no one can attack you. Creature attacks if combat, and they have to attack somebody else. And you're gonna be the Monarch for forever. How does anyone get the Monarch from you? Jessica, Rabbit, Red Queen. Oh yeah, you're right. It seems like that looks like a sort of a mishmash over here. So Shark Laser Boy says, I abuse the Monarch with Hellkite Tyrant and every match I play. I know, today is just flavor day. More flavor than anything. New Aragorn, King of Gondor, grants Monarch at 4. Yeah, but does it create 3 food tokens that goads everything away from you? If you get hit once, you lose the Monarch. Yeah, you're never gonna get hit. You're basically never gonna get hit. This thing's, I think this is broken. I think this is insanely strong. I could be wrong. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a food token if you're the Monarch, which you... Oh, I guess so everyone has a turn of, like, swinging out at you. Maybe this is fine. Maybe in practice it's okay. But, like, I think it's close. It's pretty close. Okay, we have a million super chats to get through, so... It's super chats from here on out. We got Kevin Pro, Postmaster from Hell. Where did you... They went postal. 10 out of 10 arts. Please tell me you made this art. Art unknown. Damn straight. All right. Red. The artist didn't want to be credited. Okay, we have a red, black, 2 generic. Postmaster from Hell. Instant. You and targeted opponent reveal each other's hand. Love how they, the text scrolls off the card. Each player exiles up to 2 non-land permanents from the opposite's hand. Okay, we both get to, like, basically him to Turok each other. These cards can be played by either player by paying their mana costs. Hold on, you mean, can I play their cards until the end your opponent's next end step? I guess this is what it's supposed to be. It's like, I get to play your cards, you get to play my cards. These cards can be played by either player by paying... Or maybe I can only play my cards, but I have up until the next end step to do that. The exchange of letters is fun, but burns up faster under pressure. Welcome to my fiery domain, hellish postal worker. More flavor! Like NFL Blitz, they're going postal. Looks like cigarettes in his hand. It's possible. That's what happens when you smoke too much. Going crazy. Or you're gonna need a smoke after going postal. No, I think actually, okay, so if I understand this thing, you give a letter, they give you a letter, and I think you can play each other's cards. But it's not clear. It's not clear how this card works, at least from my perspective, so I'm gonna give it a fail. But I think if you clean up the words, this is a completely playable card. There's nothing wrong with this. It's more of a sorcery, but... Oh, yeah, it also feels like it probably should be a sorcery. I think each player can cast both cards. Maybe, like, that doesn't sound like that's the intention. Because that's how it reads as it is, though. So, like, we each exile 4 cards, and we both can play whatever we want from those 4. And that gives... Oh, and that's probably why it's... Maybe that's how it works. And that's why it's an instant. So at the end of your opponent's turn, you play this thing. They're probably tapped out. They cannot make use out of the cards. But you're going to have a full grip by next turn. Yeah, pen pals. I don't know what the Postmaster in Hell has anything to do with pen pals, but... Okay, then. You little Ted! The scrying game. Thank you for reading my iterations. RIP Magic the Gathering Online or Arena servers if this goes off. The scry... Oh, I spelled it wrong. The scrying game. For Esper. What is this? It sort of looks James Bond-ish. I guess that's like a Bond girl or something. Enchantment. If a player would draw a card, that player may scry one, then draw instead. Well, that's broken. If a player would scry this turn, that player's opponent loses 1 life and may draw a card. That's fair, I think. If a player would scry this turn, that player's opponent loses a life and may draw a card. Okay, so they lose life and draw cards. If a player would draw more than 1 this turn, their opponents may draw a card. Hold on, would that perpetually loop at that point? Because let's say it's my turn. I drew a card, then I scry. Someone else scries, they draw a card. How does this work? We're back to playing the scrying game. It's a Pulp Fiction thing. This card's abilities basically trigger each other forever. Yeah, I think so. Like, I think so. I think that's a problem. But outside of, like, I think I know what this thing's going for. But maybe it doesn't go on for forever. Only one person's going to end up drawing... No, it will go on forever. Okay, so you draw a card. If a player would draw a card, that player may scry one and then draw instead. I guess to stop the loop, you just say if you draw a card, you have the option to scry one and then don't draw. That would stop the loop. But this would just go on for eternity. I'm assuming it's a replacement effect, so no, it doesn't, since each replacement effect can only affect each event once, even if it would otherwise loop. It's all May abilities. Oh, come on! We're gonna draw cards for eternity. Who's gonna say no to drawing cards? So if, like, the thing is, okay, if I draw a card for the turn, I'm gonna scry one, then draw instead. And then I just scried, right? So that player's opponents so everyone loses a life if they draw a card. If a player would draw more than 1 card this turn, their opponents may draw a card. Okay, so I technically have not drawn actually more than 1 card each turn, so that last effect hasn't triggered. But let's say it does trigger. If a player would draw... So, like, one of my opponents had to have already drawn a card this turn. So then I draw an extra card, which means I scry. Which, after I scry, that means someone loses 1 life and draws a card. And now they have drawn 2 cards a turn, and then that starts the loop for eternity. This card is too broken and hard to understand. We're shredding it! I think it's a weird, modern version of, what's it called? Trade secrets. What does more than one once this turn mean? It means, if a player would draw more than once this turn. So if you draw on your 2nd or 3rd, 4th, or to eternity a card, everyone else gets to draw a card. Yeah, we done. It danger! It danger! Gotta stop the loop somewhere in here. Okay, what do we got next? The scrying game, a game that we don't want to play. Oh, we got Josh Wright with the super chat. Oh, I gotta hunt for your suggestion. Josh. It's okay, you're new to super chats. Everyone's new to super chats at some point. So you gave me the super chat, but you didn't give me the message attached to it. Okay, I found ya. Okay, I found you here. What's your super chat, Josh? I'm looking for you. Josh. You didn't post anything. Or did you post it before? I don't see it. Sorry about that, Josh. You're owed a suggestion for sure. Just give it to me. Okay, moving on. We got Abe. Oh, no, we did this one. We did. Okay, moving on to Gabrielle. Enduring culture. An apology for the novel I made with the previous. Yeah, I definitely deserve an apology. Alright, Enduring Culture, we got Jeskai 1 generic enchantment. At the beginning of your opponent's upkeep, if they control 7 or more permanents you own, you win the game. Hold on, what? At the beginning of your opponent's upkeep, if they control 7 or more permanents, that you own, so you give your stuff to them, and if they control 7 or more, you're a winner. Pay 3 mana. Target opponent gains control of target permanent you control. It's neat. You know, these cards are always interesting because, like, you gotta give them... Okay, either you have good cards in your deck, and you're giving them bad, and you're giving them the good stuff, or you have bad cards in your deck, and they all suck. And it's just, like, really awkward. Like, yeah, you want to give it away, but you just... Also, if you can't get rid of it, I mean, it's just useless for you. What's the flavor text? They did conquer our lands. Yet now they speak our language, enforce our laws, and worship our gods. Who has won, really? Oh, yes, you basically conquered them. Anyways, I give it a pass. I give it a pass. Neat card. People love those Zedru. The Zedru player has arrived. They've shown themselves. They have, haven't they? Das Demons. Reflection of Darkness. F? You're already giving yourself the F here? Okay, Demir, 4 generic for Reflection of Darkness. A sorcery, but looks like a vehicle? Is this AI generated? You may cast this spell for 3 generic mana, for 3 additional mana. If you do, the spell has flash. So for 10? Choose any of the following. Target player exchanges control of all non-land perms they own with another target player. Holy moly! Target player exchanges control of all lands with another target player. Target player exchanges life totals with another target player. Whoa. This is a wild card. Just absolutely insane. I don't think it's broken though. I mean, it's just janky fun. Okay, this is totally fine. I'll allow this. It doesn't even win the game. Not in any way, I know. It'd be funny to do the switcheroo. There's one player that thinks that they're just dominating. Just completely dominating. Then you just switch their stuff with your stuff. Always a bigger fish. Loves it. It's Zybers. Very doable. Abzo in there always for the doable cards. So anyway. Very insane effects though. Just absolutely insane. Choose one or multiple choice. Choose any of the following. So you choose all of them? Well, maybe this is getting out of control. Target player exchanges control of all non-land permanents, the lands, and life total. So you can completely swap someone's board with your own and their life total. I'm sure. No, it's choose any is very specific. Choose any. I'm gonna allow it. I don't know if you want to give that to the blue player, but I'm gonna allow it. Oh, we have more super chats. Gotta prioritize the Brawly's Shadow. The White Rabbit. Did you watch Alice in Wonderland recently? Oh, that's interesting. All right, we got a blue-white 2/3 rabbit. Legendary creature. Can be your commander. When the white rabbit enters the battlefield, exile target creature and put 2 time counters on it. If it doesn't have suspend, it gains suspend. That's very, very flavorful because where's his big pocket watch? Okay, there's his pocket watch. So we have that. Sacrifice a food, put a time counter on target permanent with a time counter on it or suspended card. Whenever a time counter is removed from a card you own in exile, create a food token. Hold on, does that make it perpetual then? Sacrifice a food, put a time counter on it. Time counter gets removed, you get a food. I think this is like... It's perpetual. So you have to kill this guy. Enters battlefield, exile target creature, you can target creature and put... Okay, maybe this is fine. So it's like basically like a form of removal. From a card you own. You don't get food from enemy cards. Oh, okay, I see. Okay, whatever. Okay, we can pass. I think even when you got a food from creatures you didn't control, I think it was actually fine. Well, no, we're not done here. I'm not done. Not done the super chats. The show ends at the super chats. Yo, little Ted. What is your name? Is it True Name Nemesis the sequel? It doesn't matter what your name is. Oh, okay, we have white, blue, blue. What is your name? Interrupt. I like the interrupt part. You know, you're bringing back interrupt for exactly this card. Counter target legendary. Yeah, that is perfect. Counter target legendary creature spell. It doesn't matter what your name is. Is that how he interrupted people? I can't remember how he did it. You know, I was huge into the I was like into the WWF before they were even WWE. So I completely missed like the Rock saga and Stone Cold Steve Austin and all of them. But yeah, say goodbye to your commander. Well, it's only a counter spell. It's like a crappy absorb, if anything. Counter target legendary spell. You literally could have made this like 2 mana, even maybe 1 mana. Let him cook. The People's Champ. Print it, Zanzi says. Ship because it's the Rock. Is this even a Rock card? Shouldn't he be like green or something? I mean, I don't know. If anyone who knows like the Rock, what would the color pie be for the Rock? I guess there has to be a little bit of blue in it because it's still a counter spell. But there are some other non-blue cards that counter stuff. Legendary creature spell. Instant ship. Crazy that kids these days don't even know about the Rock. Really? Of course they know who the Rock is. He's in all the Disney movies. He's like a Disney staple now. I don't know if it changes much. Give him the People's Elbow. They should bring the People's Elbow into the Disney movies. That's how they do it. Is he a Boros type of character? I don't even know that much about the color pie to say like what personalities belong where. It's just... I don't know the lore very well. The first one, Shadow of Colossus, all 16 of them. I have to say that as part of the CMC. All right, am I missing any super chats? I think this might be it. I think that's it. It's a great way. I think this is a great way to end the show. Now Rock is Golgari plus Splash. Yeah, the wrestler. Rock is just as chaotic. It doesn't matter what your name is. The Rock said so. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. It was actually a very flavorful, hilarious day of Coffee and MTG. If you want to be part of Coffee and MTG, you got to be here Monday to Friday, 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks to everyone who's a member on YouTube, a patron on Patreon, and everyone who super chats suggestions to be part of the show, because that support means very much to the channel and for everyone else who watches. And that's why I keep doing it every day. And most importantly, we also got to thank everyone who shows up every single day to be part of the show, like Abzo, Yo Little Ted, Slack, Toads, Bread, Zanzi, Shark Laser Boy, Abzo, Hafiz, Rotboy, Jess, Christopher B, King Ginger, and Hafiz. Thank you very much, Shark Laser Boy. Because, you know, you guys are the show. So as usual, my coffee crew, keep brewing up them coffees. And we'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next